Salam everyone to the studios of Sri Satya Sai Media Center, and we are at the final lap of the UK Parthi Yatra, and yesterday you had such a lovely presentation in the Sai Kulwant Hall. Let's begin with how it felt finally when the presentation was offered to Bhagwan. So can we start with Lakshi?
Yes.
You worked with the children for so many months and weeks. So tell us, how did your heart feel when finally the children did the play in front of Bhagwan?
I think when you're going through the play itself, I know the script off by heart, I know the characters off by heart, I know who's meant to be where, everything. So when I entered the Kulwant Hall, I thought, it's just how many times have I seen this play? It's just everything needs to mechanically work. This boy needs to change his costume then and there. It was all pre-planned in my head. So I was telling the girls earlier though that it reached towards the end. And we have that one scene where a girl, Asha, her name is, she walks in as Swami amongst the children. And Swami singing in the background, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. And it's in that moment, I think all the walls came breaking down. The emotion all came out. And I was telling them I was hid behind the LED screen, the big LED screen in the middle. So I thought I would get away with hiding it, but I completely broke down because I think it was at that moment, not only that it's over, it's emotional, but the fact that we had done it after the number of hardships we faced along the way. I know the girl quite well who plays Swami, but she felt quite a lot of pressure, going in as Swami. She never expected such a role to receive. So she worked hard, and I think when she walked in, I honestly saw Swami walking amongst us. So it was a very emotional moment. I was with my mum who, did the whole play itself. So it was an emotional moment for both of us, and it was sad as well. I knew it was the ending as well, but all the hard work paid off, and I knew Swami was there in that moment. So yeah, it's a moment I'll always hold very close to heart. Yeah.
Wow. So for the others, what has been the moment during this trip, Triveni?
The moment. I think so there have been, I'd say the whole week has been in a way like the whole thing's just been one big moment. For me it was, I suppose, coming on this trip I had to prepare myself I've been to Prashanthi so many times, and I always come here, it's really peaceful, I find myself, and that whole, you come here to recharge, you go back home and everything's great. But being on the side that was organising this trip for everybody, I almost had to tell myself I'm not really coming here for myself this time. It will be for like everybody else to have that same feeling that I had previous times, plenty. And I think every single time that someone has come out of the ocean, like feeling that bliss, every time a youth has come up to me and said, thank you for having done this, or can you just ask somebody this question and see what they say, or when we have like different sessions, and if I'm honest, the whole session itself, they've all been absolutely amazing, but the ending of the session has been somewhat of like a little weight lifting off every time. Okay, that's happened successfully, everyone was okay, everyone had a good time, like some of them have spiritually grown or maybe not, but they'll reflect on it later and they'll be able to take snippets of what I cherish so much by being here. And I can't really pinpoint one of them at all, but I think today, like, I spoke to a lady at the beginning of the trip to ask her what she was really excited about. And today we just did a little video clip again, just to see how she was feeling at the end of it. And just her joy was just like so overwhelming for me to experience. I was like, I'm just so happy that you're happy. And I think that today I've really taken on like all this happiness around. So I just feel like it's just been a really big moment.
Because you worked so tirelessly so that everybody can be happy, and finally when you see those smiles, and finally when you can see that others feel so fulfilled, it's really so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Wow. And Jesh, what are you going to cherish from this trip?
So I came here without any no expectations. And everything I have received has been like blessings from Swami. It's just unbelievable how much he's shown his presence to us as well through every little act that we have done, everything we have offered him, the Gram Seva trip, everything has just been amazing. And I think I will cherish the most. I was blessed enough to go on the Gram Seva trip, and looking at those little children's smiles, and I was really taken aback how they believe that as if Swami has come to visit them in their school, and all we did was give them some stationery and things, which we take for granted back in the UK. We have everything available to us in an instant. But one thing that really, really got to me was their power and energy. The way that when we walked into that room and the way they said Jai Sai Ram to us, that power was just something so pure and loving that I think that's what we need to take back to the UK with us. So in fact, it wasn't us giving seva to them. It was more like they were, doing it for us to learn something from. So it was just an amazing, wonderful experience for me.
And Shreya?
I agree with Thriveni that it's all become this one big moment. But one specific instance for me that really touched me was the dedication of our youth, and them learning when to make certain sacrifices. We had something planned one evening for the whole congregation to go to, but the youth were like, no, we want to sacrifice our opportunity. The adults can go, but we want to stay and practice. And for them to recognize their own maturity and their own necessity to stay and practice really touched me, as I've known a lot of them for a long time now, to see them grow up and realize their responsibility, and realize the dedication that they had, even though they worked so hard in the UK as well, within the organization, in their personal and work lives. But to see them grow in this way, it just shows how Swami works through people and makes them grow as their own characters.
I think just going off what Shreya said as well, the unity has been unbelievable. Yeah. I think if anything, it's especially because me and Shreya and Thriveni were part of the youth members, and just a small thing that has really touched me, I think, is you could be having a really long day as practices non-stop. You don't know what time it is of the day, or just keep going, and you would think everyone's wrapped up in their own commitments and their priorities. But the amount of people I would have reaching out to me just asking, have you eaten? Just that small question. Yeah. And I think that itself shows, because, we're not just looking for ourselves, we're looking out for each other. Yeah. We all want everyone to make the most of this trip and to look after their health, because it's been an intense few days. So I think just that, have you eaten? If you come, you haven't eaten, someone will go somewhere, find food from somewhere. Even if the canteens are closed, they'll find a way. Making sure everyone is taken care of. I think that itself, it may come across as a small, act, but for me it meant, the bonds between everyone has grown closer, and that's through Swami. In the end, it's Swami reminding you, okay, you need to eat to stay alive and go for the next day. So I think that itself was just something I picked up on when you said about the non-stop practices and everything. I think, yeah. Like,
no one said no to anything.
No.
We've had so many requests for each other, or for seniors, or even people asking us, but there's not been anybody saying, oh no, sorry, I can't do that for you, or no, I won't be able to. Like, everyone has just said yes and just given so much. It's been incredible.
And how all of you started thinking about this trip, and once you signed up for this trip, how different things started opening up, and what are the things that you felt, I need to do this for Swami in preparation for this trip, and how you went about cultivating yourself for this opportunity.
I was part of the Vedam offering, And so we were just having a lot of practices, a lot of meetings where we would discuss, well, not actually discuss, we would go straight into chanting, and it would be that for about 4, 5, 6 hours non-stop. And there was a bit of a range of rhythm chanters. We had some who were masters, they were very good at what they were doing, and some who were starting off new. And so to get that sort of synchronization was quite difficult at the beginning, and I think we had to work very lovingly and respectfully and together, really, just to make sure that nobody felt like they weren't able to be involved with it. And I think that's kind of been reflected in everything that we've done as well. We've tried to be so accommodating, maybe.
And then in terms of preparation, it was I sing bhajans regularly at my centre, and the national team is known to me. We take part in national events, so we're all familiar with each other's faces. So there was no would you like to take part? No, it was just you're taking part. So that I should be very grateful for. I don't say it as a joke. It's something I'm very happy about. It was the opportunity was given to me. It was more the SSE play that it was just by chance that, you have so many teachers there. I've just now started as an SSE teacher for nursery. So I was never expecting, any key involvement or anything. But I do Bharatanatyam dance. So that's something I enjoy. And I just thought, my mum is helping out with the play mainly, so let me just give it a go and see. It's a nice opportunity to work with the children. Many of the children have never done any form of dance in their life, so for them it was a challenge as well at first. But then they committed to it. They're very good children, and it was a work in progress for the last 5-6 months, and paid off, I think.
If you don't mind me saying.
No.
Lakshi's mom is the national Bal Vikas coordinator. So whether Lakshi had a choice or not, she was going to be involved straight away.
No,
for sure. But I think aside from logistical things, you have been her emotional support. And I think, in fact, both of you as well, your dad and your whole family being involved, I think that we have prepared so much physically, but the emotional preparation that whether willingly or not we had to prepare for, I think that has been such a big thing.
It's like Swami says. He always says, put your parents first, Mata Pita. So for me, it's, of course, Swami is always there, but for me, I felt that, and I'm sure Shreya would understand too, that you do feel that that responsibility to be there emotionally. And I think through that itself, you're bonding with your family, your friends. It grows stronger because everyone's working towards something united. So that's unavoidable, and that you just naturally become moral support for. But it's a good feeling.
What sadhana were you engaged in?
I think if I think about it now that it's over, especially, I think one thing I did really try to rein in from the beginning is I've not been very good since a young age at just leaving things completely in Swami's hands. And I think if I had this mindset a bit earlier, maybe things would have been a bit easier. But I've always tested everything. Everything is if something wrong happens, I question Swami. I think why. But I think through this experience, the recent experiences, but especially this, I wanted to from the get-go attempt to adopt a mindset in that I just leave everything in Swami's hands. So surrender everything, because when you're taking such a big group, you've got your various commitments. Hardships naturally come in the way, and you're dealing with various people, you're dealing with various challenges. So whatever happens, it's in Swami's hands. It'll get sorted. I'm not saying that I maintained that mindset. There was a lot of testing, but it's the moment you let go and you just leave things to Swami's hands, things fall in place immediately.
So tell us one instance.
So I was telling these girls earlier. So in terms of the SSE play, we have, as part of the, if anyone's watched it, as part of the play, there's this Hanuman backdrop that we did for one of the climax scenes. And that backdrop has been it's been a challenge, to say the least. The idea was to get all the boys to form a collage of Hanuman standing. So it was my idea originally, which is why I felt bad for giving the burden to everyone of putting that idea together. Whatever we tried, it wasn't working. We tried to envision maybe just one big picture by the end, or how would we do it? How would we transport it to the UK? Or if we came here, time challenges. So we were questioning whether we would be able to do it, even a week before we came here. And one of the children's fathers, he had come here a bit earlier for business purposes. He came here and he was working in Bangalore. And he said, leave it to me. I'll try and figure something out. So we thought, okay, he's offering a helping hand, we'll take it. And he one day he was going to at least 10, 15 shops, various shops. Is this possible? Maybe like a canvas, various things he was trying to put forward to them. And no one was able to help. So we thought, okay, this is it maybe. And he was keeping my mum updated with the progress, and she was letting me know. Then he went to one shop, just like a corner shop, and he went to the man and he explained, this is for a play in Prashanthi that the children are doing. This is the idea. Can you help us? That man didn't ask any questions. He just said, yeah, okay, like I'll look into it. Just stay here. So this, the uncle was questioning whether this guy is taking him seriously or not. And he said, oh, okay. And then he said, how much would it cost roughly? And he said, you don't worry about the price. We can think about it later, just kind of dismissing him. So he thought, okay, I think I've got, into a little bit of a scam here. He's going to come and give like a square size Hanuman or something. So he was thinking, how is this man so, confidently saying this? And while he's standing there, he turns around and it's a big picture of Swami behind him. And that's when he realized, oh, okay, this is, it's in Swami's hands. And within a few hours, that man printed an 8-foot Hanuman, cut into 6 pieces, and he it has to be interlocked all together. He found a way of doing it, and within a few hours he sent a picture to my mum, said what happened. And I think that itself showed, because by that point we had just said, if it's meant to be, it's otherwise the boys just come and stand there, hold their hands and leave. What else can we do? So we left it, we just let it go, and we thought, okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Swami will sort it out. And that's the moment. It was that day that it got sorted. And I think for me, it was like a reassurance in my head that, okay, so maybe it's paying off the cost of trying to let everything, letting go of it.
So Shreya and Jesh sisters, anything that you'd like to share about how you prepared for it?
I personally actually felt very disconnected from the pilgrimage in the beginning because I was studying abroad. So I wasn't in the UK this whole academic year. So when the sadhana meetings were happening, I wasn't able to attend. I could see the work that was going on in the background, definitely. Every time I would call my mum in the evening, she'd say, oh, you can't speak to your dad. He's on a planning meeting call already. From 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day, he'd be on a call planning the pilgrimage. So I could definitely see the effort and commitment being put by everyone in the background. And I think I also felt a bit bad that I was in a completely different country. I couldn't do anything to help. I couldn't attend the meetings. I helped here and there with registration and things. But it wasn't until I came home from summer, attended my first and last sadhana meeting, that I really felt the unity with everyone in the group. When we practiced the union song, which we then performed this past Friday, when I got to hear the Vedam chanting, when I got to hear the bhajans, it really made me then feel part of the pilgrimage. And then coming here, I just tried to get myself involved as much as I could.
Planning started in September, so we actually joined in March, so we were quite late into it. But we ended up going on a seva activity for litter picking in a park. which Harrow West had organised. Me and my son were the only two from our centre, and we went along, and everybody was so loving towards us, and they encouraged us to come on the trip. So eventually, when we came home, my son said, "I want to go." So because of him, we are all here to support him. And in preparation for the trip, I think because I teach in SSE nursery class as well, I think we have to practice what we preach. So when we teach the children about things, our lessons are always about sealing on desires and things. So for me, it was about putting those kind of things into practice, into day-to-day living, not wasting water, not wasting time, wasting electricity, and telling, the family to also do the same. So we had that commitment throughout, and the energy and sadhana to come on this trip as well and work together, And I think the meetings also helped as well, just bonding between all of us.
How Bhagwan entered your lives? Shreya and Lakshi, you come from parents who are so deeply devoted to Bhagwan. So tell us that one beautiful story of Bhagwan that your parents keep telling you, and how you cultivated your love for Bhagwan.
I was born into a family. My parents were Sai devotees. By then, interestingly enough, that's the story I'm going to say. I think my mum, before she married my dad, she wasn't necessarily a Swami devotee. She knew that he existed, and she would always go to the bhajans because her family members, a few of them were Sai devotees. And she told me I would go. The prasada was very nice, so I'd just go and sit there and think, oh, okay, there's this man, maybe something's there. But she never really. She was a big Vishnu devotee, so that was her main focus. She didn't really come into the Sai fold till she married my dad. And it was, I hope she won't mind me sharing this story, but it was actually when they went on their honeymoon. They went to Tirupati as part of because she insisted. It was Prashanthi and Tirupati was the two destinations. So even in Prashanthi, she enjoyed it, but she was just being now introduced to the Sai fold. And they went to Tirupati. And, you naturally question when someone's not in the Sai fold, they question, should I believe in this? What if it's, so many questions go through your mind, and she was going through the same thing as well. And she was in Tirupati, her favourite place, her Vishnu's place. And they were just walking back. And there, other than Tirupati Balaji, you won't get any pictures of other deities there. It's very unique or rare to have that. So one man approached her, and he had a big basket, and inside was various key rings of Vishnu key rings. So she was interested in buying one, and he said, just put your hand in. She wasn't sure what to get. He said, just put your hand in and take one out, and it's that you can get. So she put her hand, rummaged through, and she took out a key ring, and on one side it's Tirupati Balaji, and when you turn it, it's Swami's picture. So she looked at that and thought, okay, maybe this is maybe I should take this as a. So since then, it took some time, but she made sure we came to SC classes, came to bhajans. At first, she would just drop us, and she would come and stay in the background and go. So she sometimes laughs now because now, like Tribhuti said, she's the national SC coordinator. So that transition that she had is something I'm also witness to from my childhood. So her strengthening in faith in Swami, and me also, because as a child especially, you have your doubts as well, as naturally as that's just how it works, isn't it? So just seeing her and her bond with Swami strengthen in that way, and really influenced me in terms of my devotion, because your mother is someone you follow all the time, and with that full faith, I also watched her bond grow with Swami, and it resonated with me. And I think that's the part of growing up that I really started to develop that bond with Swami, and no turning back since then.
I think my parents have had two very different journeys. My mum attended Bharatikas as a student herself. Her parents, so my grandparents, weren't Sai devotees. They were Hindu religious. They would do pujas, kathas, general bhajans, but they wouldn't do Sai bhajans. But my mum was adamant that she wanted to attend Bal Vikas. So after some arguments, my granddad agreed, and herself, her siblings, her cousins, they all attended Bal Vikas. And then from there, I think her Sai life just took off, and she attended very similar trips as this pilgrimage during Swami's life. She did pilgrimages in the 80s and 90s. So every time we talk about something here, she's like, well, in the 80s we did this, in the 90s we did this. We practiced our plays in the sheds and things like that. And she does have very amazing, beautiful experiences with Swami. I know there was one opportunity that she nearly had, that she could have worked in the super specialty hospital. She's a pharmacist, and I think she had come around Christmas time. She always used to come around Christmas time, take part in the choir. And I think she'd been away from home already a month, and her cousin called and said, oh, your dad's missing you. And she hadn't told anyone about this job that she might be able to get in the super specialty hospital. But before even asking her dad's permission, she wanted to ask Swami's permission first. And the group she was with managed to get an interview. And Swami looked at her, pointed at her, and said, go home. So that was very clear, Swami's message, that wasn't the time for her to stay and work here. My dad, on the other hand, came into Swami's fold quite late. I think in his mid-30s, maybe. An auntie that he lived near attended Sai Center regularly, Harrow East, and asked him, oh, can you help us with chairs and do seva, lifting mats, things like that. And bring your mum for the bhajans. Your mum will enjoy the bhajans. So my dad said, okay, he doesn't mind helping out. Yeah, sure, his mum will enjoy the bhajans. Again, the family was Hindu religious, but not Swami bhajans or anything like that. So he would go, and then he started to get more involved. And then it wasn't until we moved to Harrow West where he then started to take active positions. I've been able to then witness his faith grow and also his character change throughout his positions.
Back in the UK, when centres weren't a thing, there was no organisation as such. But he had a mandir set up in his house, and over time, loads of devotees used to come. It was all very, very known around the UK, I guess. And my dad didn't. I don't think he really cared, to be honest. People would come and go, and he was just there. But he had the chance to go to Prashanthi and have an interview with Swami. I think he was blind in one of his eyes. Went into the interview and then came out pretty much cured. And came back home, and that was it. In the UK, if one person finds out something, everyone finds out. So coaches of people used to come to the house, and they would all want to visit the mandir and whatnot. And when he married my mom, who was at the time very young, came to the UK, she was probably overwhelmed by these people. Wasn't so much a side of it herself. The family knew of Swami, but I don't think she was part of a centre or anything. My mom's faith just grew from then on, and like you guys as well, seeing that grow with one of your parents there's nothing like it. You hold on to their words because they're guiding you in the way that you don't even realise that you're being taught those lessons just so seamlessly. And she just has flourished. I think she's a very strong woman. And that is something that I aspire to be. And I think it's only because of the teachings and the things that she has learned from this whole organization that you become who you are.
So you know that you've not chosen Swami, Swami has chosen you.
Exactly.
And your son is now, Sister Jesh, is so involved.
So actually he plays the flute. So he has been playing in the Sai Center for a long time, and he just loves to play. That is his devotion. That is his meditation. That is everything to him. So even when he is studying, when he takes a break, he plays the flute.
Wow.
That is his break.
Wow.
So for him, he wanted to play for Swami. That was his wish. And we are all Sai devotees in our family. So I think, that also had inspired him. He actually had seen Swami when he was 2 years old in Delhi, when Swami had come there. So he had a lot of blessings, although he was sleeping most of the time. But he did get lots of blessings from Swami at that time, which we were very, very lucky because we used to live there as well.
So how did you develop your faith in Bhagwan?
So my story started with my grandfather, actually. It was back in Kenya, East Africa, when Swami had visited there for the first time he had left India. And in those days, it was all just sand, and Swami used to come past, and there used to be, some devotees sitting there, and you could ask anything you want. So my grandfather had a list of questions in his pocket, and Swami was walking past, and every question that my grandfather had written down in his pocket, he answered to him straight away. One of the questions being, will I have to move to the UK? And Swami said, yes, you are going to the UK. So, and he materialized a pendant for him as well. So I think it all started from there. So having moved to the UK, my dad was also raised in the UK, studied in the UK. And I think we always had Swami pictures around. We always saw Swami's presence, but not known much about him at the time. It was only until my grandfather, he got cancer. And when he got cancer, he told my grandmother to give a cake to the Wembley Sai Centre at the time. And she went and gave the cake. And we all went as well as a family to give this cake. And the candles went on and off 3 times. And that was 3 years later that he passed away. But that was almost like our starting point for us, where we got the inspiration to think, okay, let's read some Swami books. Let's find out more about Swami. I must have been about 15, 16 at the time. We joined a Sai Centre, and I was part of the youth at that time. My sisters were in Bal Vikas, and my parents also joined, the Sai Centre there. And we started getting involved and going through all the process of, what happens, how it happens, the bhajan singing and the classes and everything. So our journey started from my grandfather.
So if I ask you, what kind of relationship each one of you have with Swami?
To me, I think I've always considered Swami as a holding hand. And in that sense, because no matter what emotion you feel, there's always someone who's going to hold your hand. Whether you're happy, you want someone to hold your hand. When you're sad, you want someone to hold your hand. When you're stressed, you want someone to hold your hand. So I've always considered it that way. So the story I was going to say was, as I was going to study abroad, I needed to do a student visa application. And visa applications, if you've done them for work or studies, they're very challenging. And I'd started very early on, around March, April time. I started, collecting all my documents, and I was now in July, and things just weren't going right. I had done everything I could. Other government organizations were taking a while to stamp my documents, and it was Guru Purnima time, and our center had invited our previous national chair at the time, Ketan Uncle, to come and just give a short talk, share his experiences for the program. And I've obviously, as we attended center, I've had a lot of speakers before, but nobody has resonated with what they've said more than what I heard that day. And the main thing was, do your best. Swami, that's all he expects of you, is for you to do your best and then leave it up to him and he will take care of it. And at the time, it was just so poignant to me. That's just what I needed to hear, because I had done all I could do. And so then on Guru Purnima Day itself, I received my results, which were good. On the Krishna Janmashtami Day, I had my visa appointment. And then I received my passport back with my visa on Sai Smaran, which is a bhajan event we hold every year. And I, in my heart, don't believe that's coincidence. I think that's Swami telling me, trust me, I have you, it's okay. So that's my relationship with Swami. It's very much trust.
So for me, my confidence has always been a bit of an issue for me. And I think when you're going through those challenges, trivial challenges, if you want to call it, as a teenager, you have academic commitments, you face pressure, especially I think in the UK, I think all would agree that, you face that pressure at a very early age. And especially in an Asian household, academics is very important. So in terms of me, like I've never been a particularly confident person. Everything's a bit of it takes hard work and challenge. And the constant in all of that, people have come and gone. Obviously you have your family, but the constant 24/7 service offered is Swami, I would say. You develop through those challenges that understanding that it could be the worst, it could feel like the worst day possible sometimes, but the next day something will happen. Swami will come through in such a way that you don't lose faith. You keep going, and he'll show himself in various forms.
I think during COVID, it was a moment where we had a reset.
Yeah.
We were given the chance to reflect upon what
a lot of thinking
we
time.
are doing.
Yeah.
And it was almost like everything stopped and we had to press the restart button again and see if that is what we want to continue with, isn't it?
And that's a really good point, because obviously we couldn't go to our centres, we couldn't see the people we're used to seeing, we couldn't sing bhajans, you were stuck in the house. I think through that experience, then we got, the virtual live streaming, our media team were all over the place connecting everyone to.
Great.
And I think through that itself, it was, all it took was it was the pandemic. I shouldn't say it as a small thing, but I think it took just that, it took that time to, like you said, reset and really be grateful for what we have as well.
I don't think I had a relationship with Swami, if I'm honest. I didn't go to a centre. I didn't really do anything Saifold related. And I didn't even want to. I was going to a church instead. I was going to the Buddhist centre. I was with the ISKCON temple and just trying to meditate and find some answers, because I think I was asking so many questions. And it was kind of a paradox, because I wanted to ask God, I wanted to ask Swami these questions. And at the same time, I was like, but do I even believe in Swami? Do I even accept this as my God, as my guru, as someone when I listen to for answers? And I think all of that sort of never really went away. I think I still have those moments. I wouldn't say doubt, but I think I question a lot. I think we all question quite a lot. But what is so strong and poignant is that when you step into a Sai centre, when you hear bhajans, when you hear Vedam, it was actually really funny. Over the pandemic, we had Vedam classes, and I was sitting in a room. I just moved to London. Nobody was there. And I was learning Vedam and I finished, and then I suddenly heard Vedam coming. I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure class is finished. I don't know why I can hear Vedam. Checked my phone, nothing. Checked everything, nothing. And then across the road, I could hear someone chanting Vedam, and it just happened to be some random youth had moved also to London, and they were living across the road chanting Vedam. And that feeling of familiarity, that just I've been fortunate to go to different countries and stepping into their Sai centres and just hearing the Omkaram and even Prashanti, there's nothing like it. You step into it, and that overwhelming feeling you get, you can't question it.
How are you before you came to this place, and now as you stayed here for a week, and now as you go back to UK, what are you carrying with you? And as you now look forward to being a part of the organization or strengthening your connect with Swami, how easy or difficult that process is going to be from this trip?
As I mentioned earlier, I felt very disconnected from the pilgrimage before because I was living abroad. But now coming here, I felt the complete unity, as we said, of the United Kingdom. I felt like Prashanti has just changed everything for me. And as today is our last day of pilgrimage, we see tears in the eyes a little bit. But, and I did obviously get emotional a little bit this week, especially the last 2 days with our programs. But I don't feel sad. I'm very happy. I feel like everyone says we come back to Prashanti to re-energize our batteries. And I never really understood that before. Now I've like truly felt it. I understood it. And during the sadhana meetings and things, people would say, you only come to Prashanti if Swami wants you to come. Nobody enters through that gate without his will. And again, even that, I was like, okay. But now being here, I truly believe that every single person who came on this pilgrimage is here because Swami wanted them here. And also, even on a slightly lower level, but just to be able to do it with such amazing people, make such amazing friends, make memories. Again, that's all Swami's will. Nobody enters through this gate without his will. So I feel very happy. Obviously, I would like to stay a bit longer. Everyone's been saying that, we need to come back where we're not doing a pilgrimage. So we're not running to practices. We're not thinking about when our next meal time is going to be, how much sleep we're going to get before darshan. We just want to come and enjoy the peace of Prashanti before we do another pilgrimage. But I'm very happy.
So I feel like although the journey has come to an end, the physical journey, I think we are all taking part of Swami with us, that light back to our hometowns, and to share and spread that love with everybody. I think that is one of our greatest privileges of coming here. And maybe that's the reason why we have all come together to do that and to share that love with everybody else. Going back, I think it's very easy to say, like, love all, serve all, such a simple message. But do we actually love all? There's so many people or things that we don't love, right? So I think we just need to contemplate on these things now. And for me, that's going to be one of my takeaways, I think.
So I think for me personally, I was looking for that purpose, and I wholeheartedly agree in that. I think everyone who attended this pilgrimage, everyone served their own purpose and did it to such a good standard as well. I'm always sad to leave Prashanti. I can't say that, I'm, happy or anything, but I think we achieved what we set out to do. And I like to think we made Swami happy. I hope so. And everyone's fulfilled their purpose, and I'm sure the opportunity will come again. I know that for sure, because I left the last pilgrimage feeling the same way. I'll leave feeling the same way today. And but I know, again, like you said, the opportunity always comes when we least expect it. And yes, it's not over, it's ongoing.
Yeah. I think we're right, like we've all worked so tremendously hard, but at the same time, of course, we know it's not us, it's
awesome.
All a divine plan. Yeah. I know Professor Anil Kumar, he gave a talk and he said that the youth are the torchbearers, and that if we want this organisation to expand, we need to change our approaches, because it's all well and good in talking about our own experiences, but if you don't lead by example and show people that, not show people, but just do what you need to do and it be done, then that's what's going to inspire others. And I think we're all so ready to, because we've been inspired, we're ready to inspire. And I hope that we all just get on with it. Yeah.
Today is Friendship Day, and probably you cannot think of someone who can be your eternal guide, your eternal person to hold on to than him. And it's so beautiful that you shared your heart with all the Sai devotees world over. Thank you so much, and wishing you luck and wishing you Swami's grace as we wait for you to come back again.
Yes, thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.